Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Good morning.
Woo!
Good morning. Good morning. Rise and energize. Energy gains and energy drains. What's going on, producer Rachel? What we got this week? What we got today?
Dude, I have like the biggest smile on my face, and whatever. Maybe you'll think this is weird, but I had a podcast interview, so that's why I was like up with the hair and the makeup and all the things. And they just canceled. So I was in 45 minutes, and they just canceled on me, and I'm so happy. And it's not because I didn't want to do the podcast. It's this crazy thing when you have back-to-back stuff on your schedule and you don't have time to even like think. And now I'm like, oh my God, now I have a block of time. Like, do I go for a walk? Do I ride the bike? Do I like meditate? Do I do something for the business? Do I work on the book? Like, what do I do with found time?
Found time.
Yes.
I like it. I like
what
it.
do I do with this time? Jim, like, what do I do?
You have such a good perspective, and you're bringing so much energy to that situation. I struggle with that. I struggle when someone cancels. For me, it's hard to get into deep work in a short section or a short period of time. I can probably layer in that time with just BS admin stuff, right? But for me, I'm like, now what do I do? Like, okay, we've got 30, 45 minutes. Well, I can't do this project. This is going to be an hour and a half. I struggle with it. I struggle with it immensely. Any advice? Like I heard you just say, well, it doesn't even need to be work. Maybe that's something that I need to lean into to gain some energy in those situations is like, oh, let's go for a walk now.
1,000%, because
call a friend, maybe. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Well, getting oxygen, right? We need oxygen in our bodies. We need to like touch grass. We need to get outside. And I think that especially when I looked at my schedule and I was not happy this morning earlier because I was like, everything I'm doing is inside. So I will be inside in air conditioning all day, not getting fresh air. I think I end like around 4:00 tonight. And then my daughter wants stuff. Like my daughter's like, great. Now we have things to do together. I'm like, great. Now I have to be a mom. I can't push that off. And so to have this like little pocket of time where even if it's just to go outside and breathe for a minute is like, oh my God, how special and amazing.
Energy, baby. Let's go.
I know. I don't know why you would be so upset. I love when people cancel. I don't love when money cancels. Like this was a podcast, so like it wasn't, like I was making money from it. I did have somebody else cancel something for tomorrow. I had a class that I was teaching, and I get a nice sum of money when I teach classes. So it's a nice like bump in the income, right? And so they canceled because they had a funeral. And then I wasn't happy about that one, right? Because it was like, that was a 3-hour block of time that I now don't have enough time to make up for another course. Do you know what I mean? Like, so how can I utilize that block of time where I was going to be making money to make more money? So that one I'm not as happy about, but I will figure that out and I will most likely work on the book, which in turn eventually will make me money. But for today, this like beautiful 1 hour that I now have to do whatever I want before the next scheduled thing is like, what a gift to me. It's just such a gift.
It's such a great reframe of how to use the time, right? Because for me, it's like, well, I do have back-to-backs and I do want to accomplish this because tomorrow I have back-to-backs and tomorrow I have back-to-backs. So I struggle.
You overschedule your schedule, I think. But
I struggle with
I get it. You love that. That's where you thrive.
With the reschedule, right? So like, okay, we had this time planned. I fit it into my calendar again, and I don't want to sound like, every inch of my calendar is full because it's not. But yes, I do schedule everything back to back. I am hitting end on a Zoom call and starting another one almost immediately, typically.
Well, you're maximizing your time, so I get it.
So with that situation, the reschedule is often hard because a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't make it today. How's tomorrow?" There's never tomorrow. Like that. Like there's never a 24-hour window ever in anything I do. So that's tough because now it's time, effort, energy to reschedule which in turn I'll just put my assistant on it, right? And they'll figure it out. But also depending on what it is, it fits a different window. So like you just said, right? Like if it's revenue producing, well, I need to reschedule it within probably 48 hours. So now I need to move something else. Right. It's just, so I think where my energy gets drained in a reschedule isn't necessarily, now that I'm talking this through, wow, this is really helpful, Rachel. Thank you. I never really talk about this with people. So
Glad I could be here for you, Jim. I'm glad I could be here.
But I don't think it's actually the time that I lost. It's the time I have to now add to rescheduling and admin and conversations. And even though I have an assistant, I need to say, let's not book it this week because I still need open availability for any sales conversations. So there still needs to be effort and time placed into it, right? And I get people cancel and I get things happen. So I'm not saying like, oh, this is terrible. But those days or those weeks where it's like you've got 4 meetings in the morning and 2 cancel, and it's like, now what? Go for a walk. Get your feet in the grass.
Go for a walk. Ride your
Call a
bike. I'm not
friend.
kidding.
Yeah.
And again, it's reframing what the time was. For me, the podcast, again, wasn't necessarily bringing in money. But that course that was 3 hours in person, that is a little bit of a hit. But I have to not, like, if I live in that lack mindset of losing out, I have to sort of flip that into, okay, I can use the time to do something that will eventually make me money, right? Which is why I said like, okay, great, I can work on the book. That opened up space that I didn't have, especially when we promise ourselves things and we get clarity on, oh, the goal I'm working towards, right? Mine is a children's book, and I have a space and time that it has to be done. And so, like, am I taking a hit financially? Yes, because of that course not happening. But at the same time, if I use the time wisely, it's at least towards something that could potentially make me income in the future. So it really just matters how you reframe it. And so a short period of time, whether it's a 30-minute meeting that canceled or a 1-hour podcast that canceled, I do see that time as being something that you can do for yourself. Don't worry about making money. Go breathe oxygen, go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Truly, because I think that especially people like you and I that are just like back to back to back to back and constantly giving to other people, whether it's our knowledge, whether it's being like showing up in Impact Effect Accelerator, we don't really give ourselves that time to sort of just reset and like refocus on our day. And so I really want you to not get upset over those cancellations. I really want you to see those no's as big yeses. Maybe you're opening, you don't know what's going to happen. You may get a call or a text from somebody that like what does want to buy something from you or does want, you know what I mean? Like you have to sort of trust that like there's a bigger yes there from this no.
It's funny, those micro miracle moments,
yes.
right? I call them. It's like this canceled. Oh man. And then like for instance, I had a great conversation the other day. I was just getting crushed yesterday. Just a shitty day, right? Like, and I'm a positive person, so I'm like, all right, let it roll off and let's go and we're gonna move through this. And it just was one after the other, right? So we have those days where it's just like, okay, pile it on, let's go, come on, baby. How high we spot piling this piece of shit, right?
I say now, I'm so excited to see what you're going to give me next. Like, what's the next thing? Can't wait.
And then it was like, oh, okay. You know what? Let me just call a couple friends who I've been trying to just connect with. And I just had some really great conversations and it completely changed my mood. And in all honesty, a couple of I could talk to 4 people. 2 people I just had to have instant gratitude. I called my friend to say happy anniversary. He goes, "Oh shit, that's today." And right, and your reaction, right, is what my reaction was. The next thing he said was, "My dad just died." So like, you know, like I'm like, well, my dad's been dead, so like I'm not dealing with that right now. but he is on his anniversary, on his 1-year anniversary, right? Like,
Sad. Ugh.
gives me gratitude to say, like, all right, my day is going to shit, but on a day where I want to go to my new life, like literally first anniversary, right, and celebrate, that, like, that joy is removed from my heart because my dad passed this morning, and that's how I started my day. So you get into these situations where it's like this cancels or this happens, and then I reach out to a friend and instantly I have this level of gratitude. Like, my day ain't shit. My day is fine. Like, I'm not dealing with that. And then the next 6 weeks, and because my dad does die, I know that you go through those funerals, right? And then it's like 6 weeks later it really hits, right after the numbness is gone. So I'm like, it's not like his just having a bad day. He just started to have a bad month, right? And like, I have to give gratitude to the fact that I'm not dealing with that, and I'm just dealing with some stupid BS around business or an employee or
Okay.
a number in a bank account. Like,
So,
that's the issue. Come on.
right. Well, then again, another reframe. So let's work on this in real time because she just texted me asking for another available date this week on this day. I don't have one until maybe 2 months from now.
Yeah.
And it's not a flex. That, you guys, it's not a flex. Like, being busy is not a flex at all.
Well, you also
It's
said
just, I have a huge project that I'm working on for a client, so I'm isolating my time for that client. So I don't want people to be like, oh, she's not available for the next 3 months. I very specifically took a consulting job, and so my time is taken with that consulting job and Impact Effect Accelerator. So for me, how do I now write back nicely? I don't have another free day until 2 months from now.
So this is
without sounding like a
where
dick.
this is where I think ego and the truth can blend a lot right here, right? So what you just said was the truth. What do you know to be true right now, producer Rachel? You know that you signed in a consulting gig. It's paying you a ton of money. You know what your priorities are. You know what your North Star is. You just said it, Impact Effect Accelerator, this consulting gig, 2 big projects you're working on. You're focused, you're aligned. I would share that. I would just that I would tell the truth. That's what I know to be true. Is I specifically scheduled this for this week, for this day, because I'm getting all my podcast interviews done, because I have 2 things to focus on that are going to take up 120% of my time. So the next time available to do this is 3 months from now. Would you still be interested, knowing that you couldn't make it today? And that's where that last piece is where you need to remind them that they canceled without saying you canceled. The reason why is we're doing this in 3 months is because of you. But you need to just spin it a little bit to say, due to the fact that you couldn't make it today, would you still be interested in doing this in 2 months? That tells them that this is on them. You showed up, you were ready, you did your hair, you had your makeup at 5 a.m. rocking and rolling.
I mean,
you got
my
your
God.
rings on, like. And that's the thing. It's not, great. Can we schedule this in 3 months? Like, I'm going to read that and be like, what a jerk. But if you explain the truth and say, this is what's going on, this is why it was specifically scheduled, I'm happy to reschedule it. It's just, it's going to be after this project because these are the 2 things I'm focusing on. Who knows? Maybe that person says, what's Impact Effect Accelerator? Then there's a conversation to be had. Well, it might make sense for you to join it, blah, 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 blah. And, then we can, do more together because we're going to be seeing each other more often. Like, who knows, right?
That's
but
true.
I think if you just tell the truth and explain, and honestly, I just call her. I would just call her and say, hey, I've been there where the kids, this and this happened and I couldn't make an appointment. I've totally been there. I totally get it. But I just wanted to call and let you know what's going on in my world is this was very strategically scheduled because I'm not going to be available for the next 2 months working on these 2 projects. because you had to reschedule today, would you still be interested in scheduling on this date? And I think someone doesn't read into that text because it's you, it's your energy, it's your voice, right? Arise and energize, show your energy, show your compassion, and get it rescheduled if it makes sense. There's someone that canceled on me recently on a podcast, and it didn't make sense to reschedule it. Just didn't. I wasn't super excited about the guest. And I didn't necessarily like the communication back and forth. And I don't want to open myself up to losing an hour and a half again, because this person just didn't show up, right? They just didn't come.
Wait, like you were ready and everything, and they
I'm
bailed on you?
Standing in the studio front door with the door open, and I'm waiting for the car to pull up. They never showed up. And then 45 minutes later, they said that they would, oh, I had the wrong time. I'm on my way. Like, we don't do that. I can't waste 3 hours now on you. Right. And it would have been a good conversation, but impact effect podcast will survive.
Right.
So I think it's just those things of what gives you energy, right? Like, someone not calling ahead of time and canceling, and then having an expectation that they can just come when they want to my studio, which I rent out, which costs money to book, right? Like, podcasts aren't free, folks. Let's just remember that. Those situations are a little bit different for me. So in that case, it's like, yeah, maybe we'll rebook it, maybe we won't, but it's not a priority for me to spend time on rescheduling that right now based on the certain scenario and situation, So I think that you have important stuff coming up. You're working on big projects, and what you're doing is setting your boundary and sticking to your North Star.
And I'm getting better at doing that. I think that a lot, especially like recovering people pleaser, recovering corporate hustle culture. Yes, girl. I have to be okay with the no, and I have to be okay with it doesn't work right now, and and everybody else has to be okay with I'm not available. It's just the reality I'm living in. I'm trying to shove so much into this month to help everybody else and get as much done as possible. I literally think I have 5 podcasts this month that I'm a guest on, plus doing my own podcast. So it's like, I have to be okay with her canceling, but she also has to be okay with I'm not available.
Yeah.
And it's just the reality of the space that I'm in right now.
There's a level of ignorance, I think, that we all have when it comes to rescheduling. If we're the person that causes the reschedule, it's almost like we don't accept the blame on our own self because something happened that we didn't want to happen. So we almost put the blame on someone else. It's like, well, they can't reschedule. What's their problem? It's like, whoa, dude, they scheduled. They were there. They were ready, And I think it's just natural because we're dealing with the thing that's happening to us. And it's natural to go right to that victim. Like, I can't do it because this happened. So instead of owning that it was me that canceled, it's like you push it back on someone else when they don't want to reschedule. And that's just not right. That's what boundaries are. It's like, I'm not letting you push it back on me that it's my fault that I can't do it for 2 months because you couldn't make the commitment, right? And like, it sounds harsh when I say it out loud, but it's the truth. You're pushing it on me as if it's my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. And I think that blame is hard for me to swallow in a lot of cases because it kills my energy. I end up ruminating around it because I'm like, no, I'm right and you're wrong. And this is what happened. And I didn't do anything. And I was ready. And it was my cost. And it was my studio time that I paid $300 for. And it was this and it was that. And it's hard for me to swallow the fact that I'm a jerk now because it's going to take a couple months to get back on the calendar. Like, I'm not. That's me having to put up those boundaries. I
had that with a client. And she basically was like, okay, well, give me another Friday this month. And I'm like, I don't have another Friday for 3 months. Like, it's so hard to explain because people are just like, what? And I'm like, I just don't. I'm like, here's a Tuesday. Can you make that work? That's literally all I have. And so I hate it because, again, old me would want to make it work. But like now me in this situation, I literally can't. I've committed to somebody else this much time every day. I cannot make myself available to you. And it's just the reality that I'm living in.
These are tough conversations.
I'm proud of myself, but I'm proud of myself for like getting there, right? Like they are tough conversations. I think you've helped me a lot really see that I can do hard things. I can have hard conversations, and how they perceive it and how they react is not my problem. Right? Like I always made it my problem where I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do whatever I can for you and F myself over. No, if you want me, here are the parameters of having me. And I have to be okay with saying that. Again, like I don't want people to think it's not coming from ego. It's not a flex. It's protecting my time and my peace. And I didn't do that before. And I got so burnt out, I was hospitalized numerous times because I was always saying, yes, 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 I'll make it work. I'll make it work for you. Even if it didn't work for me. I can't live in that space anymore. It doesn't make me useful for anybody.
Well, that's the energized, right? That's the, if you don't protect yourself, who's gonna? I mean, it's really that simple. So when someone says you're a jerk or you're, this is ridiculous, that's them judging someone who's strong-willed and has clarity around what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they're operating. And it's not, there could be some jealousy in there, some subconscious jealousy that they don't have boundaries or they don't have enough work or they don't have a packed schedule, and you can't control that nor predict that nor change that. That's something that they have to deal with and work through themselves. And I've had to have that conversation. Like you're getting mad at me because I won't put you on the stage to speak at my event. Let's just stop there and just think about the situation right now. Before, like, you know what I mean? Like in that situation, like where does that make any sense and make or motivate me to work with you ever? I didn't make a promise that I broke. I didn't tell you I'd put you on stage. You made an assumption, and you're not getting on stages, so you need my stage more than ever. That's the truth, right? And I've had to have some of those. Those are really tough conversations because someone gets on a stage and thinks they belong on every stage, and maybe they do, right? But I'm an odd bird. Like I have a very specific expectation and a very specific mold, and you're a facilitator, not a speaker. You're a marketer, not a communicator. Like, so if you don't fit the mold for the audience, then you don't get on the stage. I don't care who you are. Like Ed Milet, super famous, right? All that, he doesn't fit my stage. I don't want a story where I cry. I want actionable education to grow a business. Those are two different things, right? It doesn't matter who you are, what your stature is. It just has to fit for the audience. So again, boundaries, protecting your energy, utilizing your time when someone cancels, owning that level of clarity, protecting your time, your energy, rescheduling if you wish, not rescheduling if you wish. I think these are all great topics that we just discussed, and I'd urge everybody to just find that level of clarity so you can protect your energy and continue to rise and energize.
Amazing. I'll be thinking about all of you on my walk today with my free time.
Let's go.
Have a great day, everybody.
See y'all.